Do 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 do. Ba da down, da da down, da da down, bow down down, do 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 do. Sorry. That's a great score in Roadgames, which is a film I know I've talked about countless times, but because I put a trailer up, and because I'm paranoid of people trying to fuck up my account because I have footage, I'm doing the review again, but I'm happy to do it for a film that deserves as many reviews as they can get from people. And Roadgames is one of them. Roadgames is pretty much take Rear Window and have it on a moving vehicle, really. Roadgames was a film directed by Richard Franklin, who's no longer with us, which is a shame. Because Richard Franklin, he directed Psycho 2, which is an enjoyable, very enjoyable film. He directed this film, which I can say I like. I like Link. And my favorite film of his is Roadgames. Now, Roadgames, despite the look of this cover, it is not a slasher film. And unfortunately, I think what happened with this film is it was advertised like a slasher film. Because it had Jamie Lee Curtis, and it was 1981. You had a shitload of slashers coming out. Terror Train, and Prom Night, and all that stuff. Now, I like those other movies, but I do like Roadgames more. Because it's not just a slasher film, it's... People call it a Hitchcockian thriller, because Richard Franklin, the director, was a big he was a big Alfred Hitchcock guy, kind of like Brian De Palma. They're big fans of Alfred Hitchcock. So they really took some tips from him, and I thought for good measure. And basically what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find the guy who did the score for this, because that's why I was humming, because I can't whistle for shit. But either way, the film stars Stacy Keach, who did an excellent job with this film as Pat Quid. And the film takes place in Australia. And Stacy Keach is a truck driver, or as he calls, just because I drive a truck does not mean I'm a truck driver. But he's a lot of fun. He has a dingo with him. Sort of a, I don't know what kind of, I guess you would call it a dog, right? Or not quite a wolf, but a dog. I guess that's what you would call it, a dingo. I just remember, that whole thing, oh, dingo's got my baby, that kind of thing. But he is a guy who, as he's going across country, he's delivering actually pig meat. I think it's pig meat. Yeah, he's delivering meat. And as he keeps going, like, he looks at people passing by and wonders what's about him. Like, he sees a guy with a bunch of balls, like, no, that's a man with some balls, And, like, he sees a couple arguing, kind of like, man, poor guy. He's sort of gives his own thoughts and opinions on what he sees. And, really well-written script by Everett DeRoche. Really did a great job with the script. And as long as let me get the music. Brian May did the music. I thought he did a really great job with especially that theme. But as Stacy Keach is going, he starts noticing this weird thing where, for example, he's sleeping outside, or he's sleeping in his truck, and the dingo's off with the trash, but he sees some guy sort of staring at his dingo, looking at the trash. He's like, "What's up with that?" And then sees like this guy like bury something, like he has a cooler and he buries something in the desert, and it's like, the hell is he doing that for? Like, why is he doing that? And it sort of gets to him. It's kind of like Rear Window on wheels, where he's like, what's going on? Why is he doing that? I don't understand, what the hell is happening? Why is this guy doing this? And again, he starts noticing weird things. And then, for a little point in the film, he picks up a hitchhiker who nicknamed Hitch, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis is probably in... She's in quite a bit of the film. I don't know, maybe 30 minutes of the film, give or take. And they have a really great back and forth because, he's wondering what's going on with that, and she kind of joins in and wondering what's going on with this person that keeps seeing in this van. what's up with it. Um, you know, they sort of play this back and forth, like, you know, he just killed her. I was like, did he make love to her first? And he's like, what difference does it make? You know, it makes a lot of difference. I think in order to play the game properly, we have to know what he thinks of women. Because this line pretty much fits her perfectly. I could go to Disneyland for a little adventure. What I'm looking for is a little excitement. And, like, Stacy Keach's character, he's a smart character. You know, he knows about literature, has a little bit of wisdom to him, but, you know, that's just his job. Just because he's a truck driver doesn't mean he's a dumb guy. And Jamie Lee Curtis, I thought she also did a fantastic job with it. She was very likable. It really bought their back and forth. They had chemistry together. And Richard Franklin did an excellent job, not only with keeping the pace of the film, because this is a film I have no problems with, keeping the pace of the film, keeping the rear window on wheels, which I thought that's a cool idea too, in the Australian outback, which good location for it. But way he shot certain scenes, for instance, like the first kill, this is not a gory film. It's not a gory film at all. It's much more a suspense film. Like when the girl is sitting, like she's strumming her guitar, and when the killer opens the door, like it looks like there was it's like bright white, the room. It kind of makes a creepy little point in the scene. When the killer opens the door, he's coming out of the bathroom, and it's just pure white. Like, you can't even see anything bad. It's like pure white. The way it's shot and done, I thought was really cool. Or, like, for instance, it's at night, and Stacy Keach is driving, and he's looking at the taillights of the van, and so the taillights of the van kind of ease up right to where his pupils are. Or, and talk about suspense, like there's a great suspenseful scene where he's driving, he keeps hearing something in the back of his truck. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's like, oh shit, there's something back there. And he goes in the back of his truck. And he's looking around, and he sees like these two pieces of meat hanging at the far end. And I love the way the camera zooms, and it really, the director knew how to do suspense. I'm sure. Look at Psycho 2, you look at this film, you really, and again, this is my favorite of Richard Franklin's. He really knew what he was doing with this. Which is a film, this is why I love talking about this film time and time again. And he starts edging out, and it's this scene here, actually. I like the lighting in it. And again, he looks at it and he kind of feels it. And then he starts counting, like, how many hanging pieces of meat he's supposed to have. And he has 2 more than he should. And he sort of looks over and sees down below. And then he's trying to, like, okay, you know, he's trying to, what's the word, be reasonable about, okay, maybe they miscounted, or, you know, maybe what's going on with that, or it sort of brings that idea, like, oh, are those 2 hanging pieces of meat, is it humans? Is it someone's, you know, hip and thigh? What is it? Is it like part of their rib cage and stuff? Is it humans? What is it? You know, could it be? Could it not be? Is it mind playing tricks on him? That's what I'm talking about, building the suspense. And you get a little bit of action, like this asshole who has his boat that's in his way, and really is fucking with Stacy Keach to the point where the whole thing has to come apart, and Stacy Keach pretty much has to drive through the boat. Did it before Bad Boys 2. You know, drove through a boat on land. Did it before Bad Boys 2. Or also at the end where he's chasing down the killer in the van. And like he doesn't stop, right? He just goes and get to the finale where it gets to a point where actually his truck goes up and over and on top on the van. And the ending is satisfying. I know I might give it away, but it's not downbeat. There's no sequel bait. That's what I enjoy about it. Just everything about this film works to high heaven for me. You know, the guy, again, Richard Franklin, very competent direction in this. Using the Outback. Knew how, like, you could tell he studied Hitchcock, just how he built up suspense. I know I haven't talked a lot about Hitchcock, but hopefully one day I'll remedy that. I don't know anytime soon, but hopefully one day. But it's just a well shot, well made film with very wonderful performances. Stacy Keach did a bang up job, and this DVD actually has a commentary with the director, again, who's no longer with us, and a little making of with the director, and Stacy Keach is interviewed. And actually, there's a little bit on YouTube that actually Quentin Tarantino talks about this film. I think even like Jamie Lee Curtis talks a little bit about it. But whoever made this film should be proud of it. I mean, again, I think the misfortune was that you look at this and it was just advertised, at least by the poster stuff, like a slasher. Like, it's a slasher. It's going to be a gory, bloody, effects-filled slasher. It's not about that. It's about telling a story. It's about telling a suspenseful thriller. And you don't know much about the killer. Like, you barely see it. Well, it's not that you barely see his face, but like you really don't hear him talk. You see him most from afar, so you don't really know much about him, why he does, and you don't need it explained. I liked his dog, the dingo. I really like that. Because I guess, do dingoes not bark? Is that what the deal with dingoes are? Is that they don't bark? But then at the end, he does bark, and you kind of find out it's not a real dingo. Which it was a pretty fun scene. And the film is funny, too. Because I think the dialogue is well written. You get some funny stuff that happens, which I don't want to give away. I mean, people will ask me, why do I make these reviews short? Not only because I got a strike, because the director didn't like that I used footage on one of his movies, which isn't even out on DVD, and that film is Remote Control. You can look that movie up. But also because these films deserve to be found, deserve to be watched, deserve for you guys to find it and enjoy it like I did. And if I gave every single syllable away, which I've done before and I'll probably do again, but sometimes I'm like, I want to step back and let you guys experience this really well. I keep mentioning, but I should really do this. Just this is kind of false advertising. It's not, you know, nudity, tits, blood. It's actually telling a story. It's actually being suspenseful. It's actually being some would say a real movie. But I just really love this film to death. I really enjoy this film. That's why I'm happy to talk about this film over and over again. It's a film that not many people talk about. I think it's a 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb. But hell, I have no problems with it. By the way, the guy who did the score has done Dr. Giggles, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, Still Dawn, Missing Action 2. The guy who did the score for this did Missing Action 2. And The Road Warrior. Oh, he did The Road Warrior as well. Some good scores. This, The Road Warrior, and Missing Action 2. Alright. I like that. So, great cast. Very likable characters with Stacy Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis. Really well-told story. Again, I love the premise of a rear window on a moving vehicle as he's driving the pigs to the market, pretty much. And I don't know what more I can say about this film. I just, you know, if you find this DVD, check out DVD. Michael Keane, Aaron, Mike. Well, yeah, Mike. OCP. I don't know if you've seen this or if you own this. I don't think you've done a review, but you check this out. John, Michael Keane. Everybody check this movie out. It's really worth the wait, worth the time. But either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And stay tuned for another review later.